Bon. Et mettre en ligne les slides après quand on a fini. Oui, oui, je compte. It will be from 30 minutes to 3 minutes, question included. So we have a session dedicated to sponsors who are also involved in the conference, and they are also asking useful questions. So I think it's good to have such kind of relationship with two partners. One is first partner, Société des Grands Projets. I will not say anything, and it's presented by Dimitri Blondel, and you have 15 minutes about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, André. Hello, I am Dimitri Blondel, and I represent Société des Grands Projets. Société des Grands Projets is a French public establishment. I will say a few words about it, but first of all, I would like to thank AICC and CITES for their invitation. It was a very stimulating 3 days, and I think it will help us work from that and keep contact with everybody here we talk with. It was, I think, we have perspective of working together. First, a few context about French mobility and why SGP was created. I tried to. Okay, it's this. Okay. I will go quickly over this because it's been this kind of diagnostic was showed during these days. In France, transportation sector represents 31% of greenhouse gas emission, and half of them are from people with their cars. And there is an objective in France to reduce from to 35% the greenhouse gas emission. So what is Société des Grands Projets? Société des Grands Projets is a company dedicated to mobility project, large mobility project, metropolitan mobility project. It was created in 2010 to be the project owner of what we call Grand Paris Express. I'll come to that in a few minutes. Grand Paris Express is a 200 kilometers metro project linking Paris suburbs together. Since 2023, the mission of Société des Grands Projets was enlarged to other regions and to be partners with regions across France to design and deliver their what we call service express metropolitan, that is mobility services project, multimodal. I will say a few words a few minutes later. And actually we support 17 cities in France. I will show a map. So, Société des Grands Projets is a company with approximately 1,000 people working on different expertise, all expertise associated to the construction of major mobility system, from automatic metro system to financing and so on. Economics, obviously, and housing, building, etc. We have 13 technical departments. And we have got a strong culture of innovation because our first project, Grand Paris Express, was very challenging and we had to innovate a lot, and a strong culture of dialogue with territories, stakeholders, with all the different authorities on the territory, because it was a very complex political context and it was necessary to have a very strong dialogue. And so we keep this way of doing things in other regions. So a few words about Grand Paris Express. As I said, it's a metro line project. So the mission of Société des Grands Projets was to design and construct the lines. I will show the 4 lines just after. All structures, stations, 68 stations, and all facilities, acquisition of rolling stock. And we were also working with other transportation companies in Paris region, like Île-de-France Mobility, with authorities for mobility, and as well as SNCF Réseau and RATP, who share part of the network, existing network. And we conduct as well urban development and real estate project is a specialty of our company. So we not only do transport system, but as well developing real estate project. And we have a strong financing expertise. We have our own financing system, which is kind of independent from every year's government budget. So this is the 4 lines of Grand Paris Express. As you see, they are kind of in circle. We used to say some kind of 8. They are linking all suburbs. The number 15 is more like suburbs close to Paris, like the first ring. And then you have others line on second ring, like the 16 line in the east, the 18 line in south and west, and the 17th line which goes to the airport. And so these are automatic metro, so they are very reliable and very fast. It will improve a lot the time of traject from suburb to suburb, because until now the network was in star, so it was difficult to go from a suburb to another suburb without going across Paris. So as I said, 68 new stations are being built. We are waiting nearly 3 million passengers a day. It's 90% underground network because of the city's constraint. It will be a train to every 2 to 3 minutes. The speed is 55 to 65 commercial speed. And it will be 100% accessible to people with reduced mobility. Benefit for Paris region, accessibility to all Paris universities, health facilities, cultural sites, etc. in Paris region. Lots of time saving, as I said. There is an example from a residential area to a place where there is a university. Time saving can go up to 50 minutes a day for one person. It's combating regional inequalities as well, because it deserves places that were badly deserved. 42 stations are located within 800 meters of one of the city's priorities neighborhood. And 30% of social and temporary housing are located in rail districts in the new district we are building around station. And as well as impact on the environment. We calculated a reduction of CO2 up to almost 11 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent by 2050. Let me say a few words now about what we do in other regions, which is kind of new. It's been a little bit more than 2 years that we're working on this project. We have a different role there. It's much more a role of from now of expertise. Maybe later we will be owner of project, but for now we are more there to help and to help design the systems. CERM is different from an infrastructure project. It's a service project. That is that it can and it will mainly rely on existing infrastructure, but the purpose is to make it better, to make it more efficient, more reliable, etc., etc. So that people we have an alternative to their car. It was written in a law that explains all the concept, and the concept is to offer a service adapted to the need and journeys of actual users, especially the users living far from the center of the city. And the concept rely on intermodality and multimodality, and as well as a phasing scheme from action that can be done quickly for quick wins to action that needs more investment and that needs more time. So as I said, it's a tool in service of region and region metropoles to deploy ecological planning on regional level. It's a lever for reducing isolation and inequalities, especially for the territories, as I said, in low density part of these territories. And it's an opportunity to rebalance and boost economic development in favor of these areas. So now the map where we are involved, you can see in green all the cities where Société des Grands Projets works with region and metropole authorities. So it's mainly all the part in the north region, east regions, center east region, which is Alpes and Auvergne, and the south regions. Some other who are in blue are still in discussion. Maybe we will start to work with them, but it's still in discussion. And some, like Bordeaux, are already very advanced, so that they didn't need. They already have their services that were finished, so they didn't need for now to work with Société des Grands Projets. A last word about research. To conduct this project, we support research, especially in transport economics field, because this kind of new project, these services, are different from what we used to do in France before, which were mainly projects about speed, time saving. These projects are much more about reliability, quality, comfort, information, and all these things are much more difficult to catch with common tools. So we launched a program of research in economics to help us evaluate the potential of this project and their value, their social value. So we are working with research teams, especially on new tools or to make existing tool better, like agent-based traffic models, like land use and transport interaction models, because we want to catch this aspect of the services, and we are looking for tools that are explainable, that are replicable, and that are affordable, because there are tools for all cities, and there are tools that means to be understandable by the public, so that every authorities and the decision makers can explain to the public the value of the investments. I think I finished. Thank you very much. If you have any question. Yes.
Should be open to.
Yes, that's one thing that we want to explore. Open source tools seems to be a good solution to be very transparent about the way we are making a calculation. As well as for us, it's important that the mathematics in these tools are documented. That's why we cannot use, for instance, IA to make calculations, because we don't know we don't know the mathematics that use the IA. Yes.
Yeah. Like in specific that you are looking for, which you are looking for modelers, like some specific research needs.
Yes, totally. We need, for instance, to implement new services in agent-based models, like car sharing services or this kind of thing. Or we need to explore ways to simplify certain models to make them more affordable, like land use and transport interaction models that are today kind of expensive and long to create, and we are looking to simplify things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So there has been a change of program, and it's not Alain Quinet, but it's Julien Brunel, who Julien, what I am saying, Julien, who is represented SNCF Réseau, and I will not say anything about it, and it's same thing, somebody sponsoring the conference, but interested very much in the work and in transportation economics, engineering, and so on, but from inside.
Okay, thank you very much. So I am very happy, very pleased to be here with you. It is very challenging and very interesting to see all this presentation. So I will give you a very short speech, because we are now very late, about SNCF Réseau, who we are, and why we are interested by economic analysis. So SNCF Réseau, in brief, is a French railway infrastructure manager. So it is the old railway infrastructure manager. We have 50,000 employees in France, and we are maintaining, investing, operating the railway infrastructure in France, so 28,000 kilometers of lines in France. The company SNCF Réseau is a 100% public company owned by the French state, and it is member of a group of a bigger group, SNCF, of course. And we have a subsidiary, SNCF Réseau, that is called SNCF Gare et Connexion, which is responsible for the maintenance, the operation in the station in France. So very, very shortly, some figures about the company. One thing very interesting, very important for us, it is the level of investment. So we invest every year 5 billion of investment per year. So it is relatively important. I think it is one of the biggest investor in France, maybe in Europe. We are currently renewing about 1,000 kilometers of lines every year. So we have a huge program of investment, of renewal of our network. We have every day 5 million of passengers, so it is relatively important. It is every day. We have more or less 10% of the population of France that use the network. What we can say about the economic analysis, so I would like to say that the rail infrastructure and the rail system in general, the rail industry in general, has some very specific economic situation. The first specificity of the rail economy is that we are in a sector that is highly regulated in the context of the market opening in Europe. So we have a huge regulation in France. We have a regulator that controls the track access charge, the access to the infrastructure. So it is a very specific context due to this phenomenon. Second characteristics of the rail system is that we are in a world, in the transport world, where there are a lot of externalities, and the rail industry offers some positive externalities for the society. It is a low carbon mode of transport. It consumes very low energy, very few space. But the problem is that we cannot monetize these externalities, and we cannot propose enough infrastructure that we would like, that will be necessary for the society. So the management of these two specificities, the regulation and the externalities, I think it offers a vast play of ground for the economist, because it is a question that transport economics or environmental economics often deal with. So SNCF Réseau is funding the economic research. We have different interventions. We have long-term partnerships with some universities, in particular with Toulouse School of Economics. We have a very long partnership with them since more than 10 years. And we have now a partnership with the Paris School of Economics that is more recent, because it was signed last year. We can also support the research by ad hoc projects on case-to-case studies when we have a problem that is not very easy to solve with the current methods or the current tools. And we are also funding PhD like many companies. I would like to point some questions that have been investigated recently. So the first kind of question is the market opening in the French domestic market. We have a lot of discussion with economists in these topics regarding the market competition, the design of the market competition, the track access charge, the marginal cost of the infrastructure, the level of track access charge, the structure of track access charges. And we also have some questions about the allocation of the capacity, in particular when we are facing congestion or scarcity. And of course, we have also a large number of questions that are related with the ecological transitions. We have financed a study regarding the effect of the carbon tax to modal shift. We are now investigating the issue of adaptation of the network to the climate change. So it is a relatively new subject for us, but I will present something on this topic later. And we also have some issues regarding the cost-benefit analysis, because the cost-benefit analysis is very focusing on time savings, but does not offer a good framework to value environmental issues and the value of rail transport. Thank you for listening, and I am open for questions if you have.
Yes. Micro, please.
Yes, it is the next session.
It was just my comment about adaptation, because I'm particularly interested in this topic.
2 on it. Any comment? I am sure you have a question.
It's dealing also with the competition on the market and within the market. So I would like to know whether actually the competition within the market, so among the different undertakings, so different company, is currently ongoing, and on which services? High speed, local, regional? Thank you.
Currently, the competition within the market is effective for high-speed market in France. And we have a competition for the market in the regional lines.
Yeah. Any other question? So just a comment, because I have to study the topic, I have to admit, but when a country compete is on the more juicy, if I can say, line. So before there was cross-subsidization in a sense, so if a competitor come, the only reaction as a very myopic economist is that you have to do the same to the other country. Is it the case? So everybody try to compete on the more juicy segment of the other country, because otherwise you lose money. Is there some truth or not at all?
Yes, there is some truth, because in France, the competition on the market is in the largest market, in the most fruitful markets. It is in Paris, between Paris and Lyon. So this is the situation in France, and I think it is a problem for the operator. So not for us directly, but it is a problem for the operator that does not have this cross-subsidization that exists before.
And so at the end of the day, it means that the people who are using the train but not the high-speed train are better off or worse off?
I don't know at this stage.
Okay, so this study, we do a PhD thesis
Yes,
on that.
exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. So some people stay here, other people go for a run, and it's good that we have continuity, because the same speaker will stay and provide the first talk. I hope that you manage the technical. If you don't need a break, we can go. Okay, so let's go. I should not speak. You are the chairman. Yeah, the last one is the chairman.
So now I'm going to present the presentation that we have done with Alain Quinet, that was notable to present this today, regarding the economics of climate change adaptation for the rail network. So I will present first some economic principles regarding adaptation. and I will show you some costs of the climate hazards in France, the rail network, and then I will present a short case study regarding the adaptation of one type of assets that are electrical assets of the French network. So first of all, I have to present you just a quick overview of the vulnerabilities of the railway network regarding adaptation to climate change. So we are very vulnerable to it, of course, in particular our assets, the electrical assets, the track is very vulnerable to the heat. We also have the problem with the vegetation because of fire that can happen near the network, and the vegetation also is a problem in case of storms when the trees goes on the track. And we also have a lot of problems with the water system, with the water management, due to runoff of waters on the tracks, to river overflow. So we have this kind of problem that are very complex and very hard to predict in this for this kind of hazards. So the rail network is an asset that is inherently exposed to hazards. The rail network is a 100% open network, so we have the habit to be vulnerable to climate change. But in France, we have we know that we will be particularly vulnerable to climate change because the instability of the climate will increase, and the consequences of the climate change are very uncertain. So we are in front of very, very big problems in France. And we have also a problem because we have a lot of solutions to adapt the network to the climate change, but we have very limited resource because we have a constraint of budget. And it is very difficult to understand what kind of solution we have to select. So in this context, economic analysis can be a tool to prioritize what is the best solution to adapt the network to climate change. So the basic principle of climate change is a cost minimization problem. So we have a total cost of damages due to the climate change that are the cost of the prevention action that we are doing to adapt the network to the climate change, plus the damage of the hazards that are residual, that are not that can happen even if we are doing action to prevent it, to adapt the network. And we also have to consider an extra cost, that is the cost that are not directly paid by the railway undertakings, but are paid by the users, in particular delays and this kind of externalities that can happen during hazards. And the problem of the cost minimization is that the best solution, of course, is not zero hazards, it's not zero problems. We have to deal to mix between a certain effort of adaptation and residual damage that can happen. So there is a trade-off that we can try to assess with the economic analysis. So this is very simple and not very new for you, I think. Now I will present some very basic data regarding the cost of damages and the moral hazards for the French network. First, we are doing some action to prevent, to adapt the network and to reduce the number of hazards. In particular, we are doing some prevention actions in operation, in the maintenance, in the replacement of assets. And the cost of this action of prevention is relatively high because we spent almost 300 million euros per year to this action. And in particular, in this kind of action, the problem of the vegetation management is very high and is increasing because we have recently considered that is a very important risk for the network. Unfortunately, we also have damages, even if we do action to prevent hazards. And if we see the cost of these damages, we have some direct costs for SNCF Réseau, for the infrastructure manager, that are not very, very high. They are approximately 30, 50 million euros per year. They are fluctuating. And we have also some socioeconomic costs that we can value using the CBAK lines. And the total cost of this socioeconomic cost is relatively high because it represents 150 million euros per year. So at the end, the total cost of the moral hazards for the French network is about 500 million euros per year. Mainly in this cost, the share of the prevention costs, prevention action is relatively high, but the cost of the externalities and delays is also relatively important. So now I will present a case study that we have recently made in the French network because we have an issue for the electric assets in France. So the French network is electrified. Almost 60% of the French network is electrified, but is electrified with two types of technology. The first technology, the oldest technology, it is the lines in green in this map. It is in the southern part of France. It was electrified with 1.5 volt DC, direct current. And we have a second wave of electrification for the rest of the network that use a most modern technology with a 25 kV alternative current. Historically, we did not electrify the northern part of France, I think because of military consideration, because we have a conflict with German. So the problem of the network concerns the oldest technology, the southern part of France. The problem of this technology is that it's not very resilient to the heat waves, because we have some counterweights that need to maintain the tension, the tension of the catenary. And during heat waves, the counterweight does not work, and the line of the contact wire is compromised. And the risk is that when a train use the infrastructure, they maybe have a problem with the catenary, and they can break the wire of the catenary. So in this case, we have only one solution. It is to impose a speed limit in order to prevent the problem. In general, we impose some train speeds above 35 degrees. So we have a solution. We need to renew all these assets during the 10 to 20 next years. And we have two solutions. We have first the option that is we renew the catenary using the same technology. It is not very costly. But the problem is that we will have a problem during the heat waves. And we also have another solution. It is to use another technology that is more costly. It will cost 2.3 million euros per kilometer. So 1 million plus than the standard renewal. But with this upgrade, we will have no problem until 60 degrees. So no problem for the heat waves. So we can calculate the cost-benefit analysis of the new solution. The problem is that it is not very easy to calculate the benefits of the new solution because we have huge uncertainty regarding the future of the climate. What will be the number of heat days in 20, 50, 60 years? The standard cost-benefit analysis use the expected value, so it is not very useful for cost benefit for climate change. So we can use other method, and in this case, we use a scenario method using the trajectoire du réchauffement climatique that is defined by the French ministry, the TRAC. And this scenario takes into account an increase of the temperature in France by +4 degrees at the end of the century. This scenario is detailed in the website of Météo France. There is a lot of scenarios. There is a lot of models that have declined this scenario, and we use the median of all the models that are proposed by this portal. So the benefit of the project, of the upgrading of the catenary is relatively simple. It depends on a very few number of parameters. It depends on the number of heat days that are expected each year. It depends on the cost of the speed limits, and the cost of speed limits is the value of time, the value of time for users. And it also depends on the discount rate that is used for cost-benefit analysis. So we have all these parameters relatively simply using the standard guidelines that are used for cost-benefit analysis in France. So the results are the following. So we can calculate the benefit-cost ratio of the new technology. And what we find is that the new technology is relatively costly in comparison to the cost that will be necessary to invest. In particular, the zone of relevance of the new technology is limited to the very highly circulated lines, more than 100 trains per day. And all these lines are in the very, very southern part of France. So this is line with a strong heat wave exposure. So my conclusion, we can see that cost-benefit analysis can be interesting and useful to understand and to help to design the adaptation of the network to climate change. We have an uncertainty regarding the evolution of climate, but we can use some methods to deal with this problem. It is important to see that the adaptation should be very careful. We have to understand the benefits and the cost of the adaptation, and we don't have to adapt everywhere regarding the best the solution available. And for the railway policy, we are convinced in SNCF Réseau that it is very important to consider adaptation to climate change for every kind of project, because it will be a very important issue for the operation of the train during the future century. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very interesting also because I think all over in Europe, the railway company are making this kind of analysis. So it could be very interesting also to compare what has been done in France, in Germany, in Italy. Just for your information, for example, I'm aware that RFI in Italy is making the same kind of analysis with respect to a number of hazards, not only heat waves, but the scenario that the Italian adaptation, the Italian plan for climate adaptation foresee two climate scenarios. One with an increase of temperature of 4.5 degrees at 2100, similar, but also a more extreme one at 8.5. That is actually more extreme one. Any question, please?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Indeed, it is important, and there are too few studies on the topic, I think. First thing, I would be interested to have your slides because there are some numbers. So if you can share the slides, it will be interesting. The second point is with relation to, you showed a case study with respect to this cable, how they delayed when expand when the temperature increase. Are there some concerns with respect to rail buckling? So, you know, la déformation des trucs des voies. In the southern France, for example, are there concerns about that?
I think there are concerns, but they are not at the same level because I think the rail has some problem with heat waves at a very high level of temperature that are until now very rare, but they inevitably will be a problem in the future. I think it is 45 or 50 degrees. So it is not a problem right now, but in the future, we can imagine that it will be a problem.
Some other question?
We're mentioning the scenario 8.5, that is actually the extreme one, but is actually the trajectory that is the current one. So I think would be pertinent, at least as climate physicist, I would be interested in considering the various scenarios and then as a consequence, then evaluate the cost-benefit analysis in the different baselines. So that could be for sure interesting to implement.
But if I can complement, do you think that the ranking of the in terms of benefit cost ratio would be affected by a different projection in the increase of temperature?
Two questions. First, we choose this scenario mostly for political reasons, because it is the scenario that is the reference scenario that is defined by the French states. But I think from the knowledge or for the research and for sensitivity also, it will be interesting, of course, to use another scenario that is more pessimistic. But the problem is that we don't have all the data in comparison with the official scenario. The Météo France offers all the data. But you're right, it is important to consider a more extreme scenario. Concerning the second question, you make a comment.
The ranking.
The ranking. I don't think the ranking will change a lot, but the volume of line that will be interested by the new technology maybe will be higher.
Yeah.
And this is a very important issue because at the end of the day, we decided not to invest at all in the new technology because it is too costly and it is not interesting to have to develop an industrial production of this new technology. And now we are trying to find an intermediate solution that could have some benefits, but that will be less costly. If the solution is that it is interesting to invest in a scenario that is plausible in this technology, maybe we will have another response and we invest in this technology.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other question? No? So thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Blumberg. And now it's time for Andre De Palma, right? To give his presentation.